Hello guys, we'll be presenting about Japan and all the interesting things about it, like location, history, language, and some interesting places to visit if you're interested to travel to Japan. Japan is located in the far east of Asia continent. It's a group of islands, nation located in the Pacific Ocean. There are also nearly 4,000 smaller islands. Japan's nearest mainland neighborhood are the Siberian region, Russia in the north, and Korea and China farther south. People first came to Japan about 30,000 years ago. At the time, the main islands were connected to Siberia and Korea by bridges and dry land, so people crossed on foot. The first society, called the Jomon culture, arose about 12,000 years ago. Around the same time, the Ainu people arrived by boat from Siberia. The Jomo and Ainu survived thousands of years hunting, fishing, and gathering plants. In 300 BC, the Yayoi people came to Hosu Island from Korea and China. They were skilled weavers, toolmakers, and farmers who began cultivating rice in flooded paddy fields. In 660 BC, Japan's first emperor, Jimmu Tenno, came to the power. Emperor controlled Japan until the 12th century AD, when military rulers, called shoguns, took control and ruled by midnight.
Do you want to know something? Europeans first arrived in Japan in 1533, bringing guns and Christianity. In 1635, the ruling shogun closed Japan to foreigners and forbade Japanese to travel abroad. This isolation lasted more than 200 years. In 1868, the shoguns were overthrown and emperors returned. This was a time of great change and modernization for Japan.
During World War I, Japan fought on the side of the US, but on December 7 of 1941, Japan bombarded the United States Navy fleet at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, and the US entered to World War II. From 1941 to 1945, Japan's military elites fought against the US and the Allied forces. In August of 1945, the US dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, killing about 115,000 people. Japan surrendered a few days later.
There are also many festivals in Japan, like Bondals festivals or summer festivals. The Bondals is a special time of year for the people. It's a Japanese cultural tradition held in the middle of summer to honor ancestors. People clean their family gravestones and household altars, offer flowers and food to the ancestors, and also they have prayers chanted by a monk for their ancestors. The summer festivals are another fun and exciting Japanese tradition that kids can enjoy too. Japanese fireworks are some of the most elaborate and colorful in the world. They develop a new types of fireworks every year, and the fireworks festivals are a summer tradition for long ago. This is an event where you can enjoy wearing a yukata too. There are fireworks and held almost every weekend from the end of July to the end of August, and thousands of people gather at these festivals.
Another Japanese tradition that is extremely prevalent throughout the culture is gift giving. When meeting with business associates or arriving at some house you have been invited to, it's particularly important to show respect and gratitude by presenting your host with a gift. There are a variety of gifts that are acceptable. This largely depends on the occasion and current relationship on the recipient. In Japan, there is no tipping. Depending on the country you hail from, this could be tricky to fathom. If you add a tip to your bill, it will be returned to you like change you are due back. However, well-meaning your gesture in Japan, tipping is considered insulting. They believe that the price is a price, so why would they want more than ask of?
The New Year's holiday is another special time in Japan. Unlike Western cultures, it's actually a very quiet event. It starts by cleaning the house from top to bottom to greet the New Year. On New Year's Eve, just before midnight, there is a Japanese cultural tradition of eating tokishobi soba, or soba noodles to greet the new year. Eating the long soba noodles is said to be a prayer for having a long and fruitful life. Then, if there's a temple nearby, you'll hear the deep gong of the temple bell ring out of the stroke of midnight. The bell is rung either by a monk or by regular people who gather at the temple to offer thanks for the previous year and pray for good fortune. Now, one of the most popular traditional experiences of Japanese culture that visitors will like to try is the tea ceremony. It's a beautiful custom to see and one that lets you experience the Japanese food culture as well. A lady dressed in a kimono will make the matcha tea with hot water boiled in an old-fashioned kettle and stir it up with a little water whisk. Make sure to pay attention to her every moment. In the tea ceremony, every move of the hostess it's considered part of the art of the tea. So it's not only about the taste of the final product. Matcha tea is thick and bitter, so trying it could be a bit of a challenge, especially for children. If you are willing to try it, it's a aesthetical, amazing experience.
Now I'm going to talk about the language. Japanese language is divided in three forms. Hiragana, which literally means ordinary or simple kana, is used primarily for native Japanese words and grammatical elements. There are 46 basic characters which all symbolize syllabaries or 71 including diacritics. Each sound in the Japanese language corresponds to one character in the syllabary. Students will typically learn hiragana first before learning katakana or kanji. Hiragana is also used for furigana or yomigana, a reading aid for the kanji you will find either next to or above the kanji. It will help you read kanji you may not know yet, which is another reason why it's important for students to master hiragana first. Children's books targeted at young children are often written in hiragana. Katakana, meaning fragmentary kana, are used primarily for foreign words and names, long words and onomatopoeias. Some of the most useful Japanese words are untranslatable onomatopoeia, such as hirigiri, to means to be at the limit, such as just passing, just making it on the train before the doors close, or being just in the time for appointment. Like hiragana, there are 5 single vowels, 14 consonant vowels and 1 singular consonant in katakana. Like hiragana, there are 5 singular vowels, 14 consonant vowels and 1 singular consonant in katakana. Often you will see both hiragana and katakana in a 5/10 grid, called goijun or 50 sounds. In Japanese elementary, middle and high schools, students learn more than 200 gyoju kanji, or regularly used kanji. A fun fact, that is also the number of kanji required to pass the highest level of the GLPT. Also, there are more than 50,000 kanjis most native Japanese don't even know.
Hey, do you wanna know something about the castles in Japan?
Yes, tell me about it.
Well, I can tell you about the Himeji Castle. Himeji Castle is also known as the White Hero Castle and is both a Japanese national treasure and a World Heritage Site. Its status as one of Japan's 12 remaining origin castles, making this fortress a must if any people interested in the Japan history.
That's great, man. Let me tell you about the Nagoya Castle, symbol of Nagoya and military might, with samurai on the grounds and crowned with golden diadems. Though destroyed by World War II by air raids, this reconstruction of the 17th century castle served as a dramatic reminder of the importance of Nagoya throughout Japanese history, and is the city's main tourist destination.
Oh my god, but after all, let me tell you something about other castle. The Kumamoto's Castle. This castle, where Japan crushed its last great rebellion, it's also boasted a Daimos place. Despite the damage it suffers in the 2016 earthquake, Kumamoto's castles remain to the top tourist attraction in the city and welcomes nearly 2 million visitors every year. Within its imposing black exterior, the sloping ramps, the castle was particularly difficult to break in. It was designed specifically to discourage ninjas from attacking.
That's great, man, but now let me talk about the Edo Tokyo Museum. Set foot in the Edo Tokyo Museum to travel back in time. Established in 1993, the museum's permanent exhibits include a life-size replica of the first wooden Nihonbashi. It means Japanese bridge, as well as a scale model of buildings from Edo, Meiji and Showa periods. To get real feel of the history, you may even interact with some of the models here. Kimono traditional Japanese outfits are now mostly only worn from the formal occasions, but some Japanese still wear them in their daily lives. Edo Tokyo museums offer a free-of-charge kimono experience. Put on an exquisite traditional Japanese garment and take a stroll along the streets of Edo period.
Well, and now, the Tokyo National Museum. Established in 1872, Tokyo National Museum is the first museum established in Japan. The Museum of Arts Culture prides itself on its comprehensive collection of artwork and antiquities from Japan, as well as other Asian countries, including numerous paintings and works of calligraphy, as well as samurai swords from ancient Japan. Tokyo National Museum offers an array of activities, workshops, symposiums, and concerts. They are all even interactive, stamped collective activities for children. In short, there is something for everyone. Yeah, and now we'll be talking about Matsuri. But if you don't understand me, that's because Matsuri in Japanese is a word of festivals, like the Amori Nebuta Festival. Nebuta and Nebuta festivals in Amori are some of the most marvelous popular festivals in Japan, accompanied by live music and energetic shots. The enormous brightly colored lanterns float through the sky, are paraded down the streets. Living through long harsh winters, the people of Amori enjoy celebrating their short summers with such majestic festivals. Join to the Nebura Festival, held every year from August 2 to 7, to watch stunning parades and beautiful fireworks. Don't worry if you can't make it to the main event. The City Museum has also permanent exhibitions of Nebura all the year around.
That's great, man. Did you know about the Yamagata Hanagasa Festival? The Yamagata Hanagasa Festival takes place August 5th to 7th and celebrates the traditional music and dance of the regional in one of the Tohoku's largest parades. Moving to the hypnotic rhythm of taiko drums, some of 10,000 local dancers in dry-sliling costumes follow gorgeous decorated floats.
Food is an integral part of Japanese culture. Most Japanese households have their own set of traditional and rituals when it comes to dining, both for special occasions and for everyday meals. One such example is miso shiru, or miso soup, an iconic Japanese dish. Although miso soup is basically made from only 3 simple ingredients: kombu, a type of seaweed, bonito flakes, and miso paste. The flavor of the finished product will vary depending on the cooking method, cooking time, and the ingredients used, and every household has their own family recipe.
The contributions to Japan are undeniable. The Japanese civilization has millennia of history of culture, science, and technological manifestations. We had a great influence of human history of them. The Japanese robotic industry began by developing prototypes of automobile factories and electronic devices, with the intention of relieving employees of physical, demanding, and dangerous jobs. The development of the industry of Japan to diversifying products, it has created robots capable of performing rescue function catastrophic situations. Exoskeletons that increase the physical capabilities of people with motor limitations. Prototypes that splice medicines to patients and perform brain surgeons. Currently, Japan is the country with the highest export of robots in the world.
Another contribution to the world is the video games. Although Japan was not a pioneer worldwide in the video game industry, it became the main reference during the 80s and the 90s. Nintendo was positioned as the main device to play from home. Several of the most iconic video games in the history of contribution from Japan, like Space Invaders, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, Mario Bros, etc., are the most influential. Starting in the years in the 2000, USA industry grew exponentially and Japan suffered a decline in this area. However, it remains on the front of leading of the smartphones game market today, making use of the historic effectiveness with handheld devices.
Now let me talk you about the anime. The anime, it's a Japanese animated films, has more than 10 million fans in the world. Unlike the Western animated films, the anime is not only aimed at children. The histories cover different areas from dramas and comedies to action plots. The anime is considered a manifestation of worship that in 2017 celebrates 100 years since its first manifestations. Like Haiti, Dragon Ball, Pokemon, and Sailor Moon are just some references that were strong influence in the West and covered several generations, reasons why they are considered great Japanese contributions.
At last, I'm going to talk about manga. Many films of the anime genre were born from the manga, term given to the traditional Japanese cartoons. Among the original artists of the manga is Katsushika Hokusai, who lived between 1760 and 1849 and left a legacy of more than 30,000 drawings. Even today, manifestations of this art considered of could continue to appear. In fact, between 2016 and 2017, the Japanese Foundation holds an exhibition which aims to show Hokusai's collection of sketches and highlight the mangas as Japan's contributions by exposing the most important difference between classical and contemporary animes. Well, that's all for us. I hope this information results useful for you, and if you have some suggestion or comment, let us know in the comments. And well, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching.